For our next step, we are going to be sewing the main piece of our aprons together. So this, with it facing up, I'm going to take my secondary piece and I'm going to put it facing down. So I have right sides, or the pretty sides, together. Now you're going to match your pieces together. It might not be flat across the center, but your edges should match, especially because we cut them out stacked on top of each other. So they really should be pretty close. If you have one piece of solid fabric and it's not, like, both of your colors are solid colors and it's not matching together, it might just need to be flipped over, because it might need to be like they're different edges that are matched together. So I'm going to go around and make sure that those edges match. Then I'm going to pin along these edges, so because we don't want our fabric to shift. Now, if you remember, we did our straps. So like I have a pin right here where our straps are. So what I actually like to do on this side, on the corners here, I'm going to keep those edges together, and I'm just going to untake that pin, and then I'm going to just replace it. So I'm still pinning through my straps in the middle, sandwiched in the middle, and then I have these two pieces of fabric right sides together. So I'm going to repeat that for each of the different places that I have pins already. Okay, so I've replaced these pins on the top edge and now on the side. Now I want to have a couple more pins, so I probably put like 1 or 2 on each of the curves and 1 or 2 on the sides so that it's secure, because I don't want my pattern piece or my fabric pieces to shift when I'm sewing. The other thing is I like matching my piece, like I'm the one who matches my pieces together, so make sure you're pulling them so those edges match before you pin them. Okay, the last thing is, when pinning, is we want to have an opening, and we want to have it at least a hand's width so that we can get our hand in to turn it. So one thing that I like to do, especially where we have this space to do it, is I'm actually just going to take 2 pins and kind of cross them over each other, and it'll just help me remind that that's the pin where I need to stop. So I'm going to put that here on this side. So I'm going to start over here, and then I'm going to stop at this area. So next we're going to go and we're going to sew all the way around. Okay, so where I'm starting is, you can see here's my pins, my X pins that I'm doing about like a hand's width down below, that I am starting on at that bottom edge. So we're going to start like we normally do. We want to make sure that we backstitch to secure those stitches, and we'll be stitching and pivoting at our corners. Okay, to pivot, remember that we have our marking for our 5/8 inch line. We don't quite have our marking for a 1/2 inch to follow. So what I usually do is I sew to about that 5/8 inch mark, and then I will either use my hand wheel, or remember that you can use the needle down button so that you don't have to use your hand wheel every time. And then once my needle's in my fabric, then I can lift it up and I can pivot. And just because I went like that extra stitch or 2 past the 5/8 inch line, I should be lined up with that 5/8. Then we're gonna twist our fabric, and you wanna make sure that it stays flat. We don't wanna have any other of the fabric creep up underneath, otherwise you're gonna have to unpick. Okay, when sewing on your curves, the trick is just going at a speed that you can control your fabric. So as I'm stitching, I am watching right here, and if I need to tie this fabric and like help shift out my fabric with my left hand, that's how I get sewing at that even 1/2 inch. Okay, now I have gotten to my pins, so I'm gonna just take them out. I'm going to back stitch, and then I can pull my fabric out.